Hello everybody and welcome back. I am KRX and we are playing some Mashinky, taking a look at it in the early access stage, sort of not too far off from the 1.0 release. We are about to actually be moving into the third era. We are in the Steam Age right now. We have set up routing for generating steel currency, coal currency, wood currency, and the regular money currency. Everything's booming right now. Everything's booming. We're delivering coal over to this toolworks. We're also delivering planks and delivering the iron. Did I say steel? I mean iron. I think steel is something we're going to find in a later era. So I think this is just the iron. And we are actually ready to advance to the next era and see what it's all about and see how the world's going to evolve with Era 3. And of course, if you guys are just joining us here, guys, we do have a playlist link down below, so you can catch us at the beginning of the series where we looked at Era 1, and we've advanced to Era 2 now, and now we're advancing to Era 3. And the world really does evolve and change and give you more sort of logistical opportunities and industrial opportunities, and different towns sort of spawn and they grow and things like that as you move through the eras. And we also kind of start the series off kind of like just a getting started tutorial, just to kind of show, you know, what are the things you're looking for when you're trying to set up a sort of profitable systems and get a company going that's actually making a profit and that's able to succeed, right, and able to play the game and stuff. But let's move here. Let's pay the 200 wood, 200 coal, and 100 steel. And booyah, we have moved into the early diesel age. In fact, we have a new currency we're going to need to get, the oil currency or the petroleum currency. Let's go. If we look around here, we're probably going to see, we're seeing refineries popping up. We're seeing shops. Towns have shops. They want goods to be delivered to this town. We have oil wells for the crude oil, and then that's going to get moved. We have factories are now popping up, and these factories are taking wood to make goods, or taking the refined oil to make the petroleum to make the petroleum currency, and also goods. So some different things popping up there. What is this? Another factory over there. Oh, this is sort of a different. No, not the same ratio. Same ratio. But again, some of these factories might be a little bit different than each other. One of the last big systems we were setting up, though, and we can see there's a number of shops that have spawned along this route. Do we actually have a train on this line, or did we not actually add the train yet? That's interesting. Factory just sort of right there, and an oil well right next to it. The people seem to be accumulating here. We don't really want... Hold on. We don't really want you to be grabbing... we don't really want you to be grabbing mail. We don't want you to be grabbing oil. We don't need oil to be accumulating at the station here. It's not the end of the world, but it's not exactly what we need. So I think what we want to do is we wanted to get a train on this line. Oh, we do have a train on this line. So this train presumably is moving through these different towns, picking up people. Like there's 500 people here. So if we go up to speed 3, I'm just kind of curious how this guy is sort of going here. 500 people waiting here at this station. Baltimore, it's a big city. They quickly loaded everybody up, which is nice because we extended the station size there. There's still a bunch of people there, right? Like, it'd be nice to get more trains on this line, but we kind of need to loop it. If we're going to do that, we kind of need to loop it. Man, that's a far back. And how do we do that? Do we actually sort of just take this and just sort of swing it around sort of all the way, like back to the beginning? That actually, I think, would be really effective in many ways. What if we actually swung it around this way, curled it around, and brought it back this way sort of longer? Maybe we could bridge across here. That could be really nice looking. Bring it up this way and connect right in there. I think that would actually be kind of neat. Let's see if we can do that. This isn't really getting us to the oil necessarily, but hey, you know. Okay, so let's see. I'm kind of curious exactly if we're going to be able to sort of do a bridge here. Oh, cancel. It won't let us do a diagonal bridge. We actually do have high-speed rail now too, for some of the new trains and things. Okay, we kind of come down here, and maybe we could sort of bridge across this. I don't know. The bridges are a little. We'll have to see kind of how they work here. Do a nice wooden bridge, or we could do a stone bridge. Stone bridge is a little bit more expensive, but hey, I think it has a higher top speed though, going over the stone bridge. The question is, kind of wondering, yeah, we'd have to really bring that out to be able to land on that, but you know what? Maybe it's worth it. How much is this going to cost us? That could be kind of neat. Okay. It's okay with this. I'm thinking we want to go one further. Alright guys, it's a little particular. I mean, we're just kind of goofing off and just, I don't know, playing the game. Okay. We have a good amount of money, but I suspect this bridge will be quite expensive. Does that actually have us going sort of low? It's hard to get a good camera angle to see if I think we're reducing elevation a little bit with that one. It does say that the 50, whereas the wood bridge you can see has a much slower sort of top end speed. But I think we've done it here. I think we've done it. We're able to sort of slip by this town. Kind of trying to line this up in some kind of logical way. Question is, can we get around here? This will complete our loop. It does look like a good bridge right here at the backside of the town. Maybe a double bridge? I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting. Let's see what this looks like. Let's go back to the bridge. These are expensive, but we got the money. Maybe do a little flattening here. And again, I think we mentioned this earlier, but the sort of soil look, the developed soil look, that does actually fade, and the grass does grow back. It's just that's kind of just a temporary sort of look there. I don't want to completely strangle this town, right? I mean, presumably we want that town to grow. So maybe we go a little bit wider on that. Maybe we intentionally go sort of a little out here and then curl it around. Although now I'm noticing this is giving us a little grief. I'm not sure if the towns will kind of grow like over rails or how exactly that works. This is also a town that wants, that's right, they want us to repair this church, right? And this church is going to require wood and iron in order to do that. So we'd have to divert some iron for that. Which could be kind of interesting, at least to do the quest, because that really would beef up Richmond quite a bit. But there's a bunch of people already on this. But the interesting thing is here, will the train auto-update where is our train on this line? Here it is. Will the train actually just sort of intelligently auto-update here? Based on the fact it now has a shorter way back to the beginning? No, because its orders don't tell it to go to the beginning. Okay, okay. We have to clear the orders here. Might be an easier way to do this. But let's give it orders. Let's say you go to there, right? You're going to there. Then you go back to here. And it is taking the appropriate routing. Then you go to here. I think if we watch this train, it'll work. And what this is going to do for us, that's it. That's it. I think then it'll just sort of auto return. This means we can start adding more trains now. We can start adding more trains. This is a we have new kinds of trains actually have popped up, right? But this is a really good train for the lower speed rails. Of course, now we have high speed rails. Like if we go to the actually interesting to see that sort of a refinery has just popped up here. Little town right here. Do we know about that town? Yeah, of course we did. But now we have the now we have these, the EMD F3, which requires petroleum to run this thing. It goes 81 miles per hour, huge amount of horsepower, lots of torque. I mean, this thing is just amazing. It really does require, we do need to get the petroleum industry up and going in order to buy it and maintain it though. And then we'll also need to go through and upgrade all of the railing to high-speed railing as well. Yep, this is coming along nicely. Perfect. Dropping off a ton of people there. Picking some people up, and it's off to the races. But again, we're gonna want a couple more of these, I think. This is the thing. If we look here, there's 500 people here. So to me, that clearly means that clearly implies that we need like significantly more trains. Like even just one more train is not gonna be enough. But let's go up to 2 more trains. If we start running out of coal income, we'll deal with that. Let's do 2 though. Okay, let's go to the wagons. You know they can hold 6 each. Six. These should sort of auto space themselves. Although what we might need to do is we might need to actually go and add signals now for this to kind of work properly. Like we might need signals right before each of the stations, and maybe sort of in a bit sort of after the stations. Especially in these long segments, probably need a couple. Over here, like we'll probably want a few, because we don't really want the trains to be sort of needlessly sort of stopping all the time, waiting for trains to clear large segments. I think this should work now. If we just let this guy go. Although, let's get his orders in order here. Still 500 something people waiting at that station. These trains should be economical, but some of these cities are not quite big enough to need these trains, but that's okay. Because I think the cities will grow, right? The cities will grow. And that's it. So it's 20, it goes to station 24, and then it starts at station 22. Perfect, go. Roll out. And then it's just going to be a matter of looking at these stations, increasing the catchment area, making sure the buildings are actually being touched, because I bet you these buildings aren't even contributing, right? These buildings aren't even contributing to the station, so we're not generating as many people as we should. So we'll have to make sure that that all matches up. Increasing the, like having trains with higher speeds here will also make a big difference, I think. Let's roll. This train's going to have to slow down. Well, it's got to go to this station first. So it'll come into this station without slowing down. It's got 150 people right now. It's going to unload those people. And then it's going to start moving up to this here. And what needs to happen is, oh, nope, that signal right there is going to mean that it's clear to go ahead. That's going to stop there. Great. It's going to go. It's taking off. This one's got to stop here. So our money should just be going way up. Whether or not our coal stabilizes or not, because we are using a lot more coal maintenance to employ these trains, we'll have to see. We might have to do some more sort of coal delivery. Yeah, like this train probably could be upgraded. How quickly is this filling up? Is it like half a trek? How quickly does this get up to a 200, which is its max? 186, 190. Yeah, we could probably increase the capacity of this train by quite a bit. I'm also thinking just adding something like the maintenance shed should significantly increase its output. We could also, we have the currency now to do a second. Yeah, this will just start pumping out just mad tons of coal. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you here. Oh, pause. Here, send you to the depot here, would you? Go to the depot. I guess you're gonna deliver this, then you're gonna switch around and go to the depot. Nope, you're just gonna go straight to the depot. That's fine. You can turn around at the stations. Okay. So this guy, this little bald one here, is this a bald? This is Porter. This is a Porter, I think. Yeah, this thing we're gonna bop this guy. We have radically increased the capacity for coal, so we're gonna represent that by getting. Heck, let's get a train that uses coal, and let's just load this thing up and start moving 2 or 3 times as much coal back and forth for 2 or 3 times as much currency. And at a faster speed. So yeah, it's twice as much capacity. There we go. Now if we let this guy go, 54 at a time instead of 27 with a higher speed. Also, what we could do is we could come in here and we could add a freight station so that it loads faster. We could add one over here so that maybe... Actually, I'm not sure if that includes unloading, but it would make sense to me that it did. That would make the most sense to me. Oh, a coal hopper specifically adds 100% loading speed for coal. Or coal. But if we see this, this should be moving a lot more in and hopefully just making a lot more sort of coal currency. And I think the limiting reagent now is going to be iron. There's going to be this iron coming in. But I think we should see these coal numbers going up rather than down, and that's kind of the idea here. Them going up rather than down. All right, that's good. Let's actually start working on getting some oil. Let's spot a place on the map that has sort of a good oil opportunity. We have an oil well over here, but I'm not seeing the refinery. There's the refinery over there. That's not particularly nearby. I guess that's kind of what we need to do, is if we can spot some of these refineries. A couple over here. There's quite a few over here, but I don't see the oil wells next to them. Okay. Here's an oil well. Here's some refineries over here. This next to North Las Vegas. This could totally be reasonable. 2 different oil wells could easily be shoveled into this refinery. From that refinery, where's the factory? Factories are down here. I'm not really in love Here's a factory, a refinery, and an oil well. This looks like a pretty good little triangle down here. That looks pretty local. Actually, this might be the easiest way to set it up, just right here, just boom, boom, boom. Not really any towns in the way. This looks good. This looks good. Although I think we're gonna want, I don't know if this is gonna produce enough oil to actually sort of get this refined, because it is 2-to-1. Although, isn't there a way? Yeah, here we go. The research laboratory makes it a 2-to-2 ratio, which is amazing. In fact, the propane plant makes it so you can just convert like straight into the currency. You don't even have to make the petroleum and then move it to the factory like over here. Although this is a better ratio. And look at this ratio, 2 for 1 plus 2. The dye plant? That's just objectively better than 3 equals 1 plus 2. This would be 2 equals 1 plus 2. Dang, or you could do 5 for 2 and 3. A little bit more throughput there. I like it. Let's set this up though. Let's set up this oil well. And presumably we can upgrade the oil well with additional oil wells, and the desalination plant is at 1.5 times output. So we can get this up. This is a 1. We can get that up to a 2.5. 2.5 per unit of time. I think before we worry about building any high-speed rail, this is kind of interesting because I might end up terraforming this. I think it's too shallow for a oh, it's counting that as part. See, it can't quite reach that now. Does it work if we do it this way? It reaches it if we go that way with it. Are these the same station? It's calling these the same station. That's actually kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool. Let's do a little bit of flattening here. And I think we also are going to do a little flattening there. I mean, I don't know. Oh, do we go all the way with that? I'm never quite sure. Like, should you go with the flow on these games? Should you flatten them? I mean, with trains, it makes sense that you would flatten them. I don't think digging that out right there is unnatural. I think they would be blasting this with dynamite and digging this out and making this smoother for the rail. I think this is blowing up these little hills and stuff. I think is actually perfectly adequate for historical train rail building and stuff. I mean, not that I'm definitely not an expert on any of that though, but I think a little bit of terraforming is probably accurate. And it's not really like, this isn't really the kind of hill you can tunnel under. You know what I mean? It would be cool to actually set up a tunnel somewhere, you know, in an area where you actually would need to tunnel, like to get through this mountain. That would make sense. It'd be, you know, obviously, in fact, I actually wonder how much would it cost us to actually remove a mountain? That would just like bajillions of money, but honestly, not an unachievable amount of money, to be honest. Okay, so we got a little bit of a dilemma here. And that's because the rails are not hooked up in such a way in order to have one depot supply both of these with trains. Unless we kind of like ended up sort of connecting them in like a loop over here, which we totally could. We totally could. How much? I don't think depots are really expensive or anything, but I'm just kind of wondering. They just kind of clutter things up a little bit. We'll just put in a depot here. It'll be fine. Actually, kind of dawned on me. You can have a depot like this. Just at the very end like that. That's totally fine. I don't know why I never thought of doing something like that. So that doesn't look too out of place. So let's set up an engine here. And I really like these Class 65s. I mean, the The high-speed trains that we can get that use petroleum are quite nice, but I think these are gonna be good. We're gonna end up. I think we just build the absolute biggest one that we can build for this segment, and it needs to move crude oil to the best of its ability. Start. I'm gonna let it be, well, no. That's a pretty short back and forth there. So we might have to upgrade the oil well to be able to produce enough. Let's see how empty this thing is on its sort of there and back. We also talked about how getting the research laboratory could be a really big sort of initial investment here. Not even close, yeah. Not even close to filling this up. So we could easily build the additional well. And we could easily go for the desalination. And between both of those things, in both of these things, I think we might get it. Let's watch it on the return trip after this, the next trip. We almost don't even need to increase sort of loading speed on this because it's barely going to have enough time to accumulate the 49 that it can hold, right? What did it hold exactly? Oh, there's 49, 50 something. It's literally just about perfect, and maybe we do kind of round it off with the freight station. With that extra bit of loading speed, I think this is literally going to be just doing a perfect job there. So with the if we end up upgrading this to kind of a 2-to-2 ratio, or here's a 3-to-3, right? Kind of the same thing. It's not that expensive. Yeah, see how it's doing? It's not keeping up. We need to be able to move more of this. We need to be able to, we're not actually processing it quickly enough. But if we do get it to a 1-to-1 ratio, that means that this train here is going to be tasked with moving about the same amount into here, the same amount of product into here. So let's get an equally large train. Maybe it'll be a little bit smaller, just sort of because, I guess. These can actually hold 12 apiece. So the other thing is 40. Let's see what this is if we click these a bunch of times. 12. I mean, do we go up to... I don't think we're going to be harmed by going up to 60 capacity on that. I think that's fine. Grab this, start. Orders to go to here. Whoops. And orders to go to here. Hold 60. I don't think we're going to actually have 60 here. Ever. Although this station, we definitely want a freight thing there. So we're coming in with 60 right now because there's a little bit of a sort of a backup, and presumably here we'll be making yeah, just like goods that can be sold at a store, which we could try to tie that in eventually. But also we are starting to move. Yeah, we request to actually do the oil delivery, which we're working on. Tough choice. Let's do passenger transport. We're going to be doing a lot of passengers, I think, with the new system that we set up. Testing, some kind of testing. Let's not do that. Let's not worry about that. Deliver 400 logs to any one sawmill in a year. I think we can do that. And then we also have the thing where we're trying to do the thing. So it looks like, guys, we're making a lot of oil currency. Wowzers. Holy cow, this is going. This is like moving and grooving right now. In fact, we're getting a little bit of an accumulation here. We actually need to be able to process it faster. So we need to actually upgrade. We could upgrade this to a dye plant. We talked about that. Yeah, we need to do that. And you know, it looks like actually one of our limiting reagents actually is going to be not even the petroleum. It's going to actually be the iron. Right now, the only place we're actually operating a foundry is over here. We could try to optimize the line that we have by adding more trains or other such things. And we could also try to set up additional foundries in other locations. Like there's a foundry here that we could be utilizing as well to get more iron, because we're going to need more iron, it looks like. Guys, thank you so much, everybody, for watching this episode as we delved into Era 3 and we sort of got some of the industry set up for that. We haven't actually set up goods delivery to towns, and there's new towns that have spawned and towns have gotten bigger, and we could go back and try to optimize and balance out some of the mail systems and other things. And there's definitely actually mail in these towns here that we're not delivering at all. Right, there's 4 different mail stops here along these towns that we don't have a system for yet. Lots of things we could be working on to expand our logistics empire. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out in this episode. I think this next episode, we will actually work towards moving into the 4th era and move out of the early diesel age, as we're already generating quite a bit. We almost have the resources to do that already, which is kind of insane. But we need to shore up some of these other resources that we're lacking in. And looking at some older research, right? It's interesting because it's like these currencies mean that all the industries are relevant forever, right? They just always stay relevant. Thanks everybody for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode.